Welcome to the Giro d'Italia Women. 8 days, 8 stages, 22 teams, all battling it out for one Maglia Rosa. Welcome to the next round of the UCI Women's World Tour. Stage 1 was an individual time trial starting and finishing in Brescia, a 15.7 kilometre race against the clock. Lotte Kopecky, the Belgian champion, went fastest, but it was Elisa Longo-Borghini who took the fastest time moving into the hot seat. It was close on the line and Grace Brown, the Commonwealth Games time trial champion, was 1 second in arrears. Italian Elisa Longo-Borghini took the first Maglia Rosa.
I'm so joyful at the moment, and I don't know, maybe it will be the only day I will get to wear this jersey, but I will try to honour it.
Elisa Longo-Borghini taking the stage 1 second ahead of Brown. Brody Chapman was third at 13 seconds. Longo-Borghini leads the classification ahead of Brown and Chapman. Stage 2 was a sprint stage from Sirmione to Volta Mantovana, a 110km stage, but it was very active at the start with 2 riders in the breakaway. They had a gap of over 4 minutes. It became a real threat, and into the final 2 kilometres, Anuska Costa took a flyer, but in the end it was a bunch sprint, and it was Chiara Consoni who won the stage for UAE Team ADQ ahead of Lotte Kopecky, the world champion. Back-to-back Italian victories, Chiara Consoni sealing the deal.
I think the team was super. We left the breakaway, went for 6 minutes, and I was a little bit scared. But then I think they did a really good job.
Chiara Consoni winning the stage ahead of Lotte Kopecky. Elisa Balsamo was in third, with Sierra in fourth. Longo-Borghini continues to lead the overall ahead of Brown, Chapman, Kopecky and Labous. Stage 3 started in Sabbionetta. They were heading for Tuona, a 113km stage with more undulation. Former French champion Jade Veal was in the breakaway and she was caught but immediately counteracted by the Australian Sarah Roy. Elena Peroni, the Italian, joined Roy in the breakaway. Peroni was distanced into the closing kilometres, then Roy was caught. Niamh Fisher-Black started to attack and she made an acceleration. Mavi Garcia could follow, but in the end, into the final kilometre, Niamh Fisher-Black had the better and she went on to take stage 3 and take victory.
For sure, I had a good feeling about today coming into the tour. It's been a rough couple of weeks, but I really, something about the stage spoke to me, so.
Niamh Fisher-Black taking the stage ahead of her teammate Kopecky, with Labous at 6 seconds and Elisa Longo-Borghini in fourth. Elisa Longo-Borghini continues to lead the overall classification. Kopecky moves into second at 13 seconds. Stage 4 was from Imola to Urbino, a 134km stage across undulating terrain. Clara Amond was the solo rider in the breakaway of the day. The 27-year-old Canadian rider for EF Education Cannondale won solo and she held off the chase behind. Delight as she took her first professional victory.
Today the goal was to be super aggressive and to bounce back from the last stages. And yeah, so I took a chance at the beginning, kept attacking, and at some point it went.
Clara Amond winning the stage 17 seconds ahead of Soraya Paladin. Cecilia Utschob-Ludwig was in third. Elisa Longo-Borghini still has the Maglia Rosa, still it's 13 seconds to Kopecky, with Cecilia Utschob-Ludwig in third. Stage 5 was from Frontone to Foligno, a 108km stage with lots of action and many breakaways. Ceratizit WNT were particularly animated at the front of the race, but in the end it all came down to a bunch sprint, an excellent lead out from SD Works Pro Time, delivering the world champion and the leader of the points classification Lotte Kopecky to a victory, and she was victorious with clear daylight ahead of the rest.
I had the whole day amazing teammates, especially in the final, who kept me in the perfect position, and it was, I think, one of the best lead-outs I've ever had.
Kopecky wins the stage ahead of Consoni, Sierra, Schweinberger and Guarischi after a tremendous lead-out. Longo-Borghini is still leading, but Kopecky has closed the deficit to 3 seconds. Stage 6 of the race started in San Benedetto del Tronto, the longest stage of the race, 159km, heading for Chieti. 4 riders were in the breakaway: Edwards, Santesteban, Lippert and Mignaldi. But in the end, it was the Maglia Rosa group who were duking it out, and Kopecky was closely following the Maglia Rosa Elisa Longo-Borghini. Sant Esteban was dropped into the closing kilometres. It meant it was a 3-up sprint, and it was Liane Lippert, the former German road race champion, who came through after an injury-marred winter. The German took the victory for Movistar ahead of Edwards and Mignaldi.
It's amazing. I mean, I had such a hard start, and well, it means so much to me in a moment.
Liane Lippert winning the stage ahead of Ruth Edwards, Mignaldi and Longo Borghini led the peloton home at 21 seconds. Longo Borghini continues to lead ahead of Kopecky, Cecilie Uttrup Ludwig and Labous. The penultimate stage of the Giro d'Italia women started in Lanciano. They were heading for a mountaintop finish to the mighty blockhouse. Many riders were animated, including Justine Gericke, but in the end a select group was onto the blockhouse climb, and it was Neve Bradbury who took her opportunity just outside 10 kilometres to go. Several attacks later, but with 9.4 kilometres to go, it was the young Australian rider who made a bid for glory, coming to the top of blockhouse solo with daylight, and it was Neve Bradbury who took her first Giro d'Italia stage win for Canyon SRAM Racing.
I had to go so deep, so far into the red zone. I don't think I've pushed so hard in my life.
Neve Bradbury wins the stage ahead of Lotte Kopecky and Longo Borghini. Royak is at 1 minute and 7 seconds. 1 second is now the deficit for Lotte Kopecky. Longo Borghini remains in pink. The final stage started on the coast in Pescara. The riders were heading for L'Aquila, a 117-kilometre stage. 4 riders formed a breakaway, but it all came back together with Justine Gericke leading the Queen of the Mountains competition. Inside 40 kilometres to go, Ruth Edwards, Franziska Koch formed a breakaway, and it was Kim Lecourt-Piana who bridged across. The Mauritian champion was sprinting for the victory, taking her first professional victory on European soil, out-sprinting Edwards and Koch. AG Insurance Soudal delighted with their Giro d'Italia victory. It was an emotional one for Kim Lecourt-Piana.
I have no words. I think being in this plunge and on the start of any race this year in the World Tour has been a dream.
Elisa Longo Borghini retained the Maglia Rosa throughout the whole race, going home with the Maglia Rosa ahead of Lotte Kopecky and Neve Bradbury. The final stage was won by Lecourt ahead of Edwards and Koch, and in the overall it was 21 seconds of a deficit for Lotte Kopecky in second, with Neve Bradbury in third. Lotte Kopecky continues to lead the UCI Women's World Tour rankings ahead of Demi Vollering and Lorena Wiebes, her 2 teammates.